evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Akedika show. I trust you've had a wonderful week because I had myself. It was actually quite a very personal and emotional week for me. I celebrated my son's second birthday. I cannot believe that I have a 2-year-old, guys. It's mind blowing, very, overwhelming, very overwhelming. But at the same time, it's extremely beautiful to watch him become his own human and just grow every day. But yeah, enough of the sobby stuff. And yesterday, I actually spent the day in London as well. So the week went from 0 to 100 real quick. So your girl is, after today, I'll probably be running on E. I'll need a recharge. You know how I work. Like, this weekend is probably going to be a recharge weekend for me. But and we have one more bank holiday, so I might make the most use of that one. But as for this weekend, yeah, I am gonna be resting up, child, because I am tired. And is anybody on the live? Give me a wave. Let me know you're here. Let's get into conversation. Let me know how your week has been, and if there's anything that you've seen that you're like, oh my gosh, Hope, have you seen this? Have you heard this? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Even if it's not already part of my program, if I've seen it, then we'll touch on it. But let's get straight into the first conversation, which is makeup testing on animals. And this is not a conversation we've had to have in the UK for 25 years due to the regulations of being part of the EU. From 1995, there was a ban placed on animal testings in the EU legislations. However, since we've left the EU, Brexit obviously, we can now create our own laws and regulations around some of the decisions that we were bound by the EU with, and this being one of them. And obviously you would have thought this is one of those things pretty straightforward. Why are we going backwards? Why are we not progressing? Why would we do that? Why would we go back to that conversation as if the animals are not still the same animals that need to be protected, not the same animals that after they're used as lab rats, essentially, especially with the rabbits and the rats and those animals with a similar skin to that of the human. So they'll either inject whatever cosmetics they're testing, new things that they're trying out, or they'll rub it on their skin, or they'll force it down their mouth or put it in their eye to see if there would be like a completely damaging reaction if it were to be used by the human, by us, by women, and whoever else uses makeup. Obviously everybody uses makeup depending for whatever reason, cosmetics, and even just like the other products where we use for our skin as well, like the skincare products as well. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I am not very like, oh my gosh, the animals, and like there are some people who love animals and they would not wish to harm a fly or harm to be caused on them, and I understand that. I very much do believe that as humans, where we can protect animals, where we don't have to inflict harm on them, humans going out of their way to inflict harm on animals, I am totally against that. So this is one of those things where I'm just on the fence. Like, why are we resorting back to this? Do we not have the non-animal resources in the UK to be able to carry out the testing of new products? Because what does it take? It takes certain like bacteria cells, I believe, and a few like skin cell samples, things like that. That's what has been used over the years, and I'm just wondering, do we not have enough laboratories and biologists in a country to have access to these things, or why are we resorting back to this way? Why would the UK do that? I thought this country is very pro protecting animals. You see how people treat their pets and the laws that also protect pets, and obviously the animals in lab rats are not considered pets, but some people do have rabbits as pets. Can you imagine thinking, if this was not my pet, it would be in a lab rat somewhere, in a lab somewhere, being used as a makeup tester? you know. And after that, they do have to be killed. They don't release the animals. They essentially have to end their life, which again for me is like, but why? You know, they maybe there's a reason. They think if they live on, they'll have medical issues and other things that only they know what they're fearful of for them to live on. It's a touchy one. I hope it doesn't work. Everybody has been very much against it. People are like, yeah, come on, we're not having this conversation. This cannot be serious. You know, I hope that there's been like a petition against it. I'm actually going to look at that as well. I just reminded myself I've been meaning to find a petition against animal testing and just, you know, get my signature on there to show my support against this happening. But I think according to the law, the court had already ruled for this. So I think it's something now we have to fight against, because it's something that they're already planning on doing, or they've probably already started doing. Oh, guys, but believe it or not, the UK right now is having to undergo a whole lot of legislation and lawmaking, because there's a lot of laws that we've left behind with Brexit, and we're creating new laws. So guys, please stay tuned in what's going on in bills that are being passed. There's a lot of bills being passed right now. Go to the Gov website. You see bills that are being put forward or being spoken about in the House of Commons. Even, you know, just yesterday it's reported Rishi Sunak signed a big deal with Japan. And again, these are things we're just hearing after the fact, not before. We don't necessarily have the full access to the information before, or it is there, but we don't pay attention to it until after it happens. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what's happening. And, you know, I'm sure most of our laws are going to get challenged. America did not see the abortion bills getting challenged, but they did. And, you know, they're where they are now. So don't sleep on the law, guys. Don't sleep on what's going on there. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about that. Let's get into the second conversation. And for me, for this one, I just believe that, yeah, let's just have a listen to Elon Musk, who is speaking on working from home. And there's a lot of negative media towards working from home at the moment. I don't know if you guys have seen it or have experienced it, but, you know, this is something that, you know, transpired, I believe, yesterday for the Americans, or early morning hours for us. But yeah, this is something that just happened.
I'm a big believer that people are more productive when they're in person, and really, man, the whole sort of work from home thing. It's like, I think it's. Look, there are some exceptions, but I kind of think that the whole notion of work from home is a bit like the fake Marie Antoinette quote, "Let them eat cake." Mm-hmm. It's like really, you're going to work from home, and you're going to make everyone else who made your car come work in the factory. You're going to make the people who make your food that gets delivered, that they can't work from home. The people that come fix your house, they can't work from home, but you can. Does that seem morally right? That's messed up.
You see it as a moral issue?
Yes.
I mean, I see it more as
it's a productivity issue, but it's also a moral issue. People should get off the goddamn moral high horse with the work from home bullshit.
Says a guy who's sitting in his, I don't know if it's a factory office or whatnot, company building, where he obviously has a lot of employees who he wants on ground. So for me, his perspective is a little biased, okay? His perspective is biased because he has employees all over the world working for him, and of course he wants a more effective workforce who are going to get the job done and overwork as well, if anything. So yeah, for me, his perspective is a bit biased, and not him bringing morality in this, because what does my corporate office job have to do with the sales guy? You know, we picked our roles. Like, I went for that role. I worked to be in the position I am. to be able to have the luxury of working from home. And this is a result of COVID, guys. Let us not forget. This is all a result of COVID. And obviously, during COVID, people could not leave their homes, and the talks of, obviously moving the office to the home, and it worked. People still carried on working. They were able to work and keep themselves safe from the pandemic, essentially. And, talks about reducing the weekday came in because they realized that actually people are being more effective and they're producing more work. They're not overworked. They're not worried about rushing to get to work and being in that environment and atmosphere, and then being in the office, and the hours dragging and whatever else comes with that, maybe office drama and the whole lot. You know how we are human beings. We cannot just, stick to the things that we're supposed to be doing. The other personal aspects come into it. And obviously those aspects are good as well, because some people say your co-workers are not your friends. I've seen a lot of videos where people say, yeah, don't make your co-workers your best friends, whereas other people, they become each other's support system. So each to their own in that department. But why the sudden anti-working at home movement when it was something that started off and it showed that there was a positive outcome there? And the argument he's making is not making sense to me, because you're trying to appeal to people's emotions by saying people who work from home now see themselves as above other people who have to go into the workplace to carry out their job or their role. And I'm like, how are those two things correlating? Has there been conversations of people making fun of other people and lying about, oh, your job is so lousy, you actually have to go to the workplace to do your job, whereas I can do my job at home? I don't think I've seen that kind of energy. I don't know. I just see people being able to do more things and probably saving more money, cost of travel's reduced, air pollution reduced. Why are we crying? We are helping the planet, so that should be a good thing, right? Elon Musk should care about that. But again, he did just send a rocket to space the other day that was basically just a waste of our air pollution, but what do I know? And yeah, again, it's and there's a silly story about bin men were not able to collect bins from a certain area because there were too many cars parked up, because obviously people are working from home and they couldn't get to the bins. And that's now a headline, and they're making it seem like it's your fault for not moving your car every morning when I need to come and collect the bins. That's why I couldn't execute my job and I couldn't do my job. I don't know. Guys, do you have anything to say for or against this matter? Let me just read the story a little bit. The local authority has asked people to park close to the curb, leaving extra room near junctions and corners to make sure there is enough room for waste collectors' vehicle to pass. So, okay, that seems like a simple solution. And just yesterday, I was actually having a conversation with somebody who works in HR in a technology company, and he was saying how he hasn't worked in the office for 3 years, but he's obviously been able to do his job. And now it's being used as a threat, like layoffs, especially in the tech world with AI intelligence coming in and doing majority of the jobs. Threats against employees to say, if you want to show your relevance or if you want to keep your job, then, either be able to do a job that AI cannot execute at the moment and you're able to stay in your position, or, be the one who wants to be in the office and be in the workplace instead of working from home. Again, I just feel like that's a big manipulation for corporate companies, and it should not be the case. Because there are some jobs that can really be done from home, and there are other jobs, obviously, that cannot. So, yeah. Very interesting. And last but not least, what was oh yes, this is a conversation about harmful content affecting society, especially the youth. And usually at these kind of award programs, actors and musicians and whatnot are advised to remain politically neutral and not have any speeches that could be classed or seen as political. But I think this actor here was able to get away with that because it kind of tied into what the movie was about. But here's a little bit about the speech that just went crazy all over social media.
It's made for parents and their children, for families who feel that they are held hostage by the perils of the online world, for parents who wish they could still communicate with their teenagers but who no longer can, and for young people who have become addicted to social media and its darker sides. This does not need to be your life. To people in power and to people who can make change, please criminalize harmful content. Please eradicate harmful content. We don't want it. We want our children back. We don't want to lie awake terrified for our children's mental health. And to any young person who might be listening, who feels that they are trapped in an unhealthy world, please ask for help. There is no shame in admitting that you need support. It will be there, just ask for it. Thank you so much.
That was Kate Winslet, famously known from her Titanic role. And yeah, she recently did a movie with her daughter as well, who takes part in the movie. And it's a very emotional movie. I didn't really finish the movie, but from what I saw, it was very, very intense and very, like, you know, when they give you the worst case scenario of something. I feel like that's what the movie did a little bit, because we talk about social media all the time and the positive and negative effects on it, and obviously there's a whole heap of positive effects, and you know, we can praise social media all day long about how it connects the world, it gives people a whole, like, jobs, opportunities and information, education, you name it. However, the consequences are there and they cannot be ignored. Like, America has really been serious about removing TikTok from the country, and it's already being banned in one state. I believe it's already been put into action. But you know, harmful content has been produced for years. For me personally, I don't think harmful content is just a result of social media. There has been harmful content being released from media platforms generations on end, from films. I believe there's some films that should never have been produced and put out into the world because they are harmful content. I believe that there's music, of course, that is harmful content. Drill has been penalized for, you know, for motivating gang culture and knife crime. That's just an example of harmful content. However, it doesn't mean all drill should be demonized. What else? Porn. Can't even, yeah, the whole thing, harmful content. And people say, yeah, it's not realistic, why watch it? It's, you know, but young people consume that. And then social media now, the standards of having the perfect life, that is a whole, creating unrealistic life standards for young people has caused so much mental health and strain on people to live a life they are not able to due to their own personal circumstances, but they're forcing themselves to go out of their means to live up to a lifestyle that is being set on social media. So a lot of people were saying, what does she mean by harmful content? She wasn't specific, but I think you don't need to be specific because we all know what harmful content is. For me personally, I think horror movies are harmful content. Like, I cannot watch horror movies to save my life, and I don't understand how people enjoy that. Like, I will be up for 3 days in turmoil, like, scared. Like, how is that supposed to be enjoyable? You know, I mean, I'm just joking. Don't come for me, because I know there are horror movie warriors out there. Like, people live for horror movies, and I'm just like, that cannot be good for your mental health, surely, for your subconscious. And I've become very big on my subconscious lately, because over the years we have consumed and received things from the moment we were babies, and what we witnessed, whether it was through our own home environment, whether it was through the school, whether it was outside with friends, we witnessed and received a lot of information, and the world taught us who we are, what we can do, what we can't do, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. And we became a product of that. Our fears, our worries, our abilities, a lot of it is built around what we've been fed. You know, we are a product of our environment. And recently I have really made it my mission to be so attentive to what I take in, and that includes the news. You know, I don't watch all the news. You know, like I will make myself aware of something. I will maybe sometimes make myself aware of the facts, but if it doesn't feed my spirit, it's draining. If anything, I don't want to consume that any further. You know, because imagine all you're doing is listening to bad news all day long. And of course, like, we can't just say, oh, just ignore it, therefore it's not existing. No, we make ourselves aware of it. But news as well can be classed as harmful content, especially propaganda. Very harmful content. It has resulted in hatred and fueled tension between countries, nations, groups in society. You know, so the news is not innocent in all of this either. But yeah, the media is very powerful. The media is a very, very powerful thing, and so is marketing. Marketing, you would not think the amount of things that you went to the shop to buy because you thought it was your idea. No, that picture was probably embedded in your brain 2 weeks ago when you walked past a shop and it was in the shop window, or it was in an advert on the TV or on the bus that you drove by you and you saw it on the bus. You know, I remember not watching a program not long ago because I saw it on a bus that was driving by, and I saw the ad. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to look that up later. And then I went home to watch TV, and I stumbled on that program, and I thought, oh, this was purely my idea to watch this program. But it wasn't. I was influenced by what I had seen earlier. So let us never think that we are above the manipulations of media and marketing. And it should not, like I said, it's not something to be terrified about, but it's just something to be aware of, so that you are aware of what you are consuming. And like she had said, especially this young generation, there are so many people who are going to experience a lot of mental health and a lot of self-consciousness and not knowing who they are because they lived through a screen and they allowed themselves to live through other people's experiences and allow that to dictate what they want in life, what makes them happy, and just disconnect them from the world and disconnect them from reality, from having those relationships with their siblings, their parents. You know, siblings used to have amazing relationships. Now, you'd be lucky if you see each other in the same house in 2 days. You know, like, what a world we live in, all because people are too busy on their computers instead. But again, this is something that you have to do personally. You got to do the work personally, especially if you are a parent as well. I know how much of a saving grace that YouTube is, how much of a saving grace that tablet is, but sometimes just take it from them. Just take it from them. I know you're tired, I know you're working hard, but just take that thing from them and spend time with them. Take them outside, take them to the great outdoors, you know? I know it sounds very simple and very even hypocritical for me, to be honest, but I'm gonna try. So you guys try as well, because it is very real. But we'll leave that at that. And I really do not want robots to take over the world, guys. I do not want AI intelligence to take over the world. I do not want my child to be friends with AI, because I want my child to have real friends in real life. I don't want their friends to be a robot on their phone, you know? But that's what's happening on Snapchat right now. Kids are talking to AI intelligence, asking AI for advice, asking AI what to probably wear, or what to do with a boyfriend, or what to do with a friend, or if they have a problem with their parent. They're asking AI for advice. Your kids are being advised by robots right now. It's not even a joke, guys. I actually feel like I'm dreaming, because how is this the conversation we're having in 2023? You know, this is not the movies anymore. This is real life. And a lot of the time, you know, when you see something in the movies, it's like they're conditioning us, preparing us for things, so that when they do happen in real life, we're not like, there's not a shock, there's not a rejection, there's not a culture shock, but we've been trained to receive it and to accept it and deem it acceptable. So guys, stay woke, y'all. Stay woke. Power to the people. We can fight this, okay? We can, jokes aside, we really do gotta stay woke. And not social media woke, not, not the movement I'm woke, but for real woke. Yeah. But thank you so much, guys. I think I have wrapped that up pretty well. So if you agree, disagree, let me know in the comment sections, in the chats. I will be reading the chats as well. The chats are starting to get a few comments. I like that. And after the week, I'll be seeing a comment in the chats, and I appreciate that. Interesting fact, there's a woman in the UK who has lived in her house for 104 years. She was born there, she lived there with her parents, then she lived there with her husband and her kids, and she still lives there. I think that's just interesting. Imagine living in the same house for 104 years. And she says she had no desire to live anywhere else. That was her place in the world. That was her home, her refuge, her haven, her safe haven. Can you even imagine this generation imagining or thinking that? This would be a culture shock to a young person in this day and age, because, again, the world has half us believing that, to be great, to be better, you need to move into the biggest house or the penthouse. Living in the penthouse and living in the high-rise buildings is the new thing right now. People don't even care to own homes because they want to live in a penthouse. But yeah, I thought that was just really interesting, and I wanted to share that, because I can't just tell anybody. It would be weird. I can't just go up to people and be like, oh, by the way, did you know there's a woman? But I can say that to you guys, and you have to, because you love me, okay? So I can be weird with you guys. But thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and I cannot wait to hear from you guys again next week. But have a lovely week for now.